well, who knows? Because we're usually shooting. So,
which we actually were.
We were
shooting.
shooting.
Have like an hour break. Yeah. We had the hour break landed right when the show was on. So, yeah. Which for those of you who are on the East Coast here, probably were, you know, had already seen it. We're like, yeah, way to go, guys. A little late to the party. But you know, us West Coasters over there, it takes us a while.
I guess also it would probably would it be easier for you guys if we're able to do it in the future to, I guess we'd have to do it on the West Coast, otherwise people wouldn't see me go do it. Yeah. And you're not gonna always just
watch it again.
Watch it again. Did anybody
wait and watch it 3 hours later?
Did anybody watch it more than once? What'd y'all think? Fun? Good?
Amazing.
I was so, now that I can finally freaking talk about it, when we were sitting next to Jeremy Carver at Comic-Con, I was like, is he really not gonna say that I'm gonna have an angel in me? It's so cool. Like, Carver, say it! He's like, no. And so for like the next couple months, I guess, I was like, dude, like, listen, can I say something? He's like, no, we don't wanna. Jeremy, like, come on, man. It's so fun, and it carries on for a good while.
Who thinks Dean made the right choice? Really?
Who thinks Dean made the wrong choice? Hey!
Should've let him die.
Let him die. Well, very cool. Sorry, I'm just really excited. This is the first time we got to kind of get in touch face-to-face with fans since we've seen the premiere. So, anybody want to say anything or yell anything, ask any questions while you got us? Yes?
I was just wondering how much creative control you guys have in the show that you've been in so long.
That's an interesting question.
It is an interesting question.
Fast.
Yeah.
I would say story-wise, not much. They generally break stories far more in advance than we see.
And the most obvious way you can tell that is that we're not hunting demons in Maui.
Obviously. Yeah, because I think, we're shooting episode 9 right now. They're probably working on episode like 13 or 14. So they're so far ahead of us that we can't really say, hey, let's steer this boat this way. But that said, we do kind of create and control what happens while we're shooting. So if, say, we get a guest director who comes on and he has ideas and they're just maybe not the continuity with the show, then he and I will step in and be like, listen, it's probably better and a little bit more supernatural if we do it this way. And so I would say we're more quality control than creative control.
Yeah, and once it gets into our hands, I mean, I've noticed, me especially, I've noticed with me because I've noticed what I do. But I feel like I've grown really, I said me especially as if he's not also, but I've grown really protective of my character and of the show. Like, I think for the first couple seasons I was like, I'm an actor, I'm a talking monkey, like, give me some words and I'll say it. And now I really care about Sam, I really do. And I really care about Supernatural, I care about you guys. And so I want to protect me, and I want to protect the show for y'all and for me and for him. Like, so it's no longer for me just like, I get my lines and I'm just gonna do my thing. Like, I really want, and there are some parts where there'll be some wordings or some changes that I really feel like I want to make my own, And so, at this point in time, I think Jensen and I have established with the writers, the producers, and directors that if we make a change, it's not a
selfish.
It's not selfish. It's not like, listen, I think it'd be cool, like if I had a cigarette, or just kind of, we're like, listen, I think Sam, I really want to focus on Sam's this, or help him do that. And so they come to it. One more, then we're, yeah.
Like the little things where there was a scene where he's watching television and it's like right back, My Bloody Valentine, and you almost described My Bloody Valentine. Like, who throws that stuff in?
Those are writers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they you lock those people in a room for long enough. Lock
the door.
Yeah, they throw little quips in like that every now and again. Sometimes we'll throw them in if it's an obvious, or maybe it's just an ad lib and they actually left it in and it was never supposed to be in. After 180 some episodes, you slip a few in there, it makes it to the final cut.
Yeah, thank you. Yes,
Do you ever shoot on location or is it always in the studio?
most
About half and half.
Yeah, half and half. It used to be 6 out, 2 in.
Yeah, it was predominantly location, I would say, for the first 5-6 years.
I think specifically, in fact, our show, from everything I've heard, shot more on location compared to studio than any other show.
Always in Canada or everything?
Always in Vancouver, in and around Vancouver. Yeah.
We might shoot, when they do the spin-off, we might be able to shoot somewhere else, but it all depends, I guess.
Well,
It becomes complicated because I think the way the visa situation, it's all numbers now, but the way the situations work, like our crew can't necessarily all go and shoot for a day. The funniest thing is that we shot an episode that took place on the Warner Brothers lot in Burbank. That's where I shot Gilmore Girls for 5 years. Which I was watching yesterday on the treadmill. And this guy kind of looked really funny, because it was one of the episodes with like Dean, where I think before I ever had a facial hair, and some guy got on the treadmill next to me and kind of goes like this. He walked away. I was like, I'm not really
and that was me.
It might have been. Oh, but we didn't even shoot the stuff that took place on the Warner Brothers lot. We didn't even go to Los Angeles to shoot that. We shot it at a studio. Not even our studio in Vancouver. Yeah, so we went to our location, but we didn't even go. It's like, guys, we can go back to LA for a couple days and shoot, but just the way it works out, I guess.
They recently took a small splinter unit, just a small crew, and went out to Kelowna, which is.
Take it easy, take it easy.
And they shot just a bunch of exterior shots, and they also took the car, or one of the cars, and they shot barreling down the highway with a much different backdrop than we usually see the car, because in Vancouver it's really just either city or trees. So they got more of a desert look in the background, and it was something changed up. But we couldn't go because we were filming, and it would have been too difficult for us to get all the way over there. So they sent a little crew over there to get a bunch of like establishing shots. Yeah. So when you see those peppered into the show, it's us. It's not, we're not using stock footage. But
I just want to thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you all. Yes, in the front.
Just want to say it's our first convention.
Welcome.
We're here all the way from out east, from way out in Newfoundland.
Oh, from Oud East. That's my Canadian joke.
I got to embarrass my son a little bit. Actually, it's his birthday tomorrow. He'll be 18.
Nice. Happy birthday. 18. Is 18 the special age here?
19.
That's when you get to have.
19.
You got one more year, kid.
One more year. But I was walking around downtown yesterday, and I'm certain I saw a place where you can get a fake ID. Actually, Sam and Dean have a few. We can just take the one. Hey, happy birthday.
No, I just wanted to say that actually, I didn't tell him I was going to do this morning, so he'll probably kill me after this. But he's always wanted to be an actor right from the time he knew what acting was. So I was just wondering, if you got any advice from to get into the business. We're way out east, so we don't have the opportunity that you guys kind of have in Vancouver. It's not.
That's probably the biggest thing is just simply the opportunity. I mean, he and I both grew up in Texas, and it took us going to California to really get an opportunity. It's unless a film production comes to your hometown and starts looking for local hires, chances are it's going to be very difficult to break into the industry. That said, that doesn't, that's if you want to be in film and television. If you want to act, and there's probably local theater in your community, productions like that. I did some of that when I was growing up, and you can really kind of, cut your teeth doing that, which is great. If you still find that you really love it and you want more, then that's maybe what you talk about, going to a place that gives you that kind of opportunity.
Yeah, I work really hard at acting. I mean, for lack of a better word. people have asked me specifically sometimes, like, how do you work on that? What do you do? Do I just like sit in the mirror and talk? My best advice is never look into a mirror to act and read everything you get your hands on. I love stories about, I love like nonfiction books and stories about human struggle. And that's kind of what the reason I act. We were just talking about a book called Unbroken the other day. And just telling us and reading a story or hearing a story, that's almost like Dean said. That's weird. But like Jensen said, you can be a storyteller and an actor anywhere. So keep it up. Have work.
At that point, I'm going post-secondary. Do you think it's a good thing to get into some kind of college where they do offer training?
Sure, arts, yeah, any kind of art school. I mean, I don't know what the, I was getting into it in middle school and also in high school. It was, drama departments. I don't know if you have that, but that's something that's, that you can really kind of get into and get involved with your school plays and stuff like that.
My wife went to drama school. She went to NYU, Tisch School back in New York. And obviously, I mean, I know you're out east, but New York's relatively close. It's certainly closer to Vancouver or Los Angeles. And there are a ton of acting programs and schools out there. So you can always just go test the waters.
My fiance actually lives in Squamish. I don't know if you guys
Oh,
have
really?
shooting there.
Nice.
So yeah,
Beautiful spot.
last time we were out, we actually went to a few places where you guys got shot.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you. Make sure it's
Yeah,
about
good luck.
acting and not about rich and famous because,
Bad reason.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna go back over here.
Sure.
Hi.
First of all, I just want to say that my totally missed the look from Hero.
Miss that look? I don't. I just spray paint my hair like 5 times a day. It's really boring.
And Jared, I wanted to know, now that you've played so many different Sams, which one was your favorite one to play and which one was more?
Soulless was my favorite. Ezekiel is really difficult because he's also kind of soulless, but not in the soulless Sam soulless way. And we find out a lot
Also,
of
because Tom is such
Tom did such a rock. I love Tom. I thought he did. Yeah, that was really cool. So the most difficult, I think, is probably this year, and that's why, funny enough, I've seen some of you guys both in Dallas and Vancouver this year. I'm so excited because it's difficult. And like the scene. What's funny is that I knew I was going to play an angel a couple weeks before I played an angel. So there were things I was trying to think about, like how an angel would be affected by sunlight, like try and take some humanism out of it, especially since Ezekiel was a fresh human. Like he wasn't Castiel, who had been around humans for a long time and learned to adapt. Like Ezekiel had just fallen to earth, so he was in a place he wasn't used to quite human mannerisms. And so I didn't want to squint and go like, it was sunny, and I didn't want to sweat, I just wanted to kind of, I don't know, it's a strange thing, but I sweat as it is, and the first time you see Ezekiel, we're walking through the quad of UBC, and it's like the hottest day in months, and they lit it to where it's all sunny, and we get there, we're like, it's like, I can't, like my glasses, I was put on my glasses, and I was squinting through my glasses, it was so bright. And I was like, guys, listen, I don't want to be, but I really want to do this right. And they ended up having get a big 20-foot by 20-foot black tarp and put it behind Jensen, because if you're standing in front of a white wall on a sunny day, then the white hits your eyes and makes you squint. Whereas it could be a sunny day if you're standing in front of a black wall. It's like why baseball players put the black on their eyes. And so we ended up going like an hour or two into lunch just to try and get it right. I was like, listen, this is the first. We're about to set up this character. It's going to be around for a while.
It was also like in the upper 80s,
So on, yeah.
30.
Yeah. It doesn't sound as hot as 80s.
But and of course it's like, okay, let's get the boys' jackets on, like 3 layers of clothing. He's just like, I had to keep a towel next to me just to sop him up on his. Swag again, take this.
As some of our more regular friends here know, I sweat like in a meat locker. How are those things ice? So, you know, when it's hot. So yeah, but anyways, thank you. I love Soul this Sand, it was fun. But Ezekiel is the hardest so far. All right, you choose.
So have you ever gotten to do your own like cool stunts, or is that always
I would say predominantly it's us. There are a few that they won't let us do.
Like in the premiere.
Yeah, like in the season premiere where Dean's running down the hallway and all the glass is exploding. They wouldn't let me do that because that was real glass that they were using. So Todd Scott is my double and has been doubling me since Dark Angel. And Jared really liked Dark Angel.
Then I guess what again?
So that one particularly, they just liability-wise, they didn't want to have to, you know, pull shards of glass out of my face if I tripped or slipped or something like that.
Or worse yet, pull shards of glass.
Anyway, but like where the in that hallway scene where I get beat up, when the actress punches me and I hit the ground, that was me. And I probably did that almost 6 or 7 times where I just, from a complete standstill, had to fake that I took the punch and then fling myself with no pad or anything because the camera was low onto a linoleum floor. I felt that one the next day. That one. And of course, our stunt coordinator, Lou Bolo, you know, he came up to me after every take and he was like, "You're gonna get me fired. You gotta stop throwing yourself so hard." And I'm like, "Look, she didn't really know how to throw a punch, you know, which is fine. You know, she's a woman. She doesn't probably she probably doesn't need to throw a punch very often.
Ideally not as much as we do.
Well, yeah, you know, so as an actress, I mean, they're not generally getting into, you know,
So it's raining outside, huh?
little help here. Anyway, so I had to really fling myself hard, and that took a few tries to get it right, and that would hurt. But yeah, so we try to do as many stunts as we can, just because it's better, because they can see our face. But every now and again, they're like, "No, guys, we're not gonna let you jump out of this 3-story building. Sorry." I'm like, all right. Thanks. Thanks for getting me in trouble.
Yes. I see it. Sure. Your hand's going. Yes. We certainly see more inside. And we introduce a set in the Middle Airs Garage this year that's really fun. We do
There's a few things. Kitchen,
a storeroom, Dean's room and Sam's room, yeah, sauna,
computer room, yeah, weight room, yoga room,
dressing room.
massage parlor.
That's a good episode. See, that's if we created a story. No, we see a lot more of the middle letters. We don't, as of yet, we don't learn a whole lot more about the middle letters just yet. I think our storyline is so powerful this year that it's kind of taken us into a direction, but we will, for sure. But we see a lot more of the middle letters. In fact, when we go back to shoot this week, we're back in the middle letters. And the last thing we did, right, was in the middle letters. So we do see a lot more of them. It's really cool. I'm going to go back this way. There's someone.
Season 7, when Jim Beaver's character died, how hard was it for you guys knowing that such a big, key character and father figure you guys?
It was really difficult. I mean, I temper that by saying we didn't know how real his death was, you know? Like, when
It was supernatural.
yeah. And I mean,
How many times have I died?
yeah, I think, and funny enough, he told I got it from him. Usually, like I've read ahead, but I think they had told him. And so he was shooting. He told us. I don't know if you already knew, but I didn't know yet. And I was like it kind of crushed me for a second. But then I was like, wait a second, you can't really kill Bobby. But then I think it's sunk in after I watched the episode that he kind of was dead. And that was, it felt like a loss of it's silly, it's a show, and we're still buddies. I know, yeah. But it did, and that was one of the first times that I ever saw, that still to me has got to be in the top 3 or 4 episodes of Supernatural's history. It was just such a powerful performance on his part. That, yeah, that was also powerful, but different. But like when I watched the show afterwards, I was like, oh, I'd be a fan of this show. Like I mean it. Like I watched it. Usually I would watch it myself. But Jensen and I both had a lot of time off because it was a lot of him and Rufus, and so we got to watch it kind of as fans, you know. And when I watched funny enough, when I watched the episode, I was like, I hope he doesn't come back because it was so kind of powerful and magical. I didn't want to be like, ta-da, you know, and kind of cheapen it. So I think it's nice the way he came back, a nice little send back, an homage, and somebody who's been so important. A really poignant scene, but it's always tough. It was tough. It's tough. We killed so many damn people on that show. It's always tough.
Yes.
Okay, so Cat Steve, Dean, and Sam gave possession sigils on their ribs so that they could be possessed by an angel. So how do you have any signs?
Is that right?
Yeah.
You want to take this one? I took the last one.
I
Yeah.
was just so confused. I'm like, how is this actually happening?
That's a good question.
They're gone now.
Oh, that's it. They can't be found by angels, right? Not
Yeah.
can't be possessed by angels.
Yeah, but Dean had to pray and call them. And that was sending it out on the wire. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to find us.
Yeah, so not
Because
possessed.
it's, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
was really confused, and I dove deep into the annals of Supernatural. Really fun.
You've been.
Hi. I've been watching it from like day one, and the one episode that really sticks to me is Yellow Fever. I'm so curious because I've watched and I wanted to know, did you expect Jensen to scream like he did?
No.
Yes. As a matter of fact, yes. No, I knew he had it.
First time you did it, did you just like, oh, dude, I can't do this?
There were a few times when I just walked off. The snake, no, just walked right off set. Like he's jumping around, screaming. I didn't want to ruin it. So I was kind of like, I'd be there, and then he'd start doing something like, I gotta get off camera, and just exit.
But Jensen, did you enjoy that episode? Like, you know, just not a vulnerable side, but you know,
I enjoyed the comedy aspect of it. I think that, you know, and Phil Cerisio was the one who directed that episode. He's got a good eye for pushing he and I to a little bit more, and that particular scene that you're talking about, he kind of goaded me into going that over the top with it. You know, he was like, look, just go as over the top as you possibly think, and I'll dial you back from there. And I was like, are you sure? Because this could get out of hand. And he's like, no. Let's do one just crazy over the top, and then if it's too much, I'll just bring you back. And I'm like, okay. And of course he didn't bring me back. Left me out there to dry. But there were a few like that. I mean, he was also the one who never yelled cut when Jared decided not to come in for his cue, and all of a sudden an impromptu music video happened. So yeah, Phil is known for just, he's known for also, he puts together the gag reel
Yeah.
So when he's directing his episodes, he's looking for material. So a lot of the stuff that you see in the gag reel are from his episodes because he lets it happen.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, there's another episode coming up that is in the similar vein of the comedy of Yellow Fever, where Dean gets infected with something that it makes for some laughs. So enjoy that.
I'll go right here with the iPhone, double white iPhone.
I wanted to ask you, when you start Nestro and the Men of Letters, tell me how you felt about that and how cool was that?
Well, I think he's touched on it a few times in the show, just of how how he's never really had a home, how he's never had a sense of belonging to any one place. So to have that, or to find a place that can actually hang up his his clothes and mount his guns on the wall and put a picture of Mom on his desk, I think it was really sentimental to him. He was really happy to have a place to call home and not just a bed to sleep in. So I think for Dean it was a real sense of it was something that he'd been lacking for a long time, and so now he finally has it. I think it's just kind of it's helped him with his journey. Whereas Sam is just a little bit more. This is a place of work, and this is his home is in his mind. But Dean's happy to have a bed that remembers him.
I'm gonna go with some testosterone here. I see a guy. Well, you put his We both actually were always into it. We've often asked for more music. Long story short, it's $100,000 to get 15 seconds of Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean? So
It's very expensive.
Yeah,
Which is why you don't hear more of it than you do.
Right.
A lot of people have been like, hey, what happened to we haven't heard any classic rock in a long time. It's like, because it's really expensive to get those songs on. But they try. We've got a crack team of post-production producers and people that are always trying to find a place to put it in. And
we have some great music cues this year, though.
We do, yeah. We're trying to get back into it, and I think they've got the go-ahead from the studio to spend a little extra money in getting that music.
Frankly, y'all support.
Yeah, and like you said, I've been listening to classic rock since I was a teenager, so it's when we read the show.
That was like 40 years ago.
We read the show in the beginning, and we saw that was the kind of music these guys would listen to. It was really easy to jump into that. So.
It was nice to be way back in the day. Not to single out any other shows, but I remember the pilot. What did he say? The script said that we'll always jump in the car on classic rock. None of this is anemic.
You can take that and you can take that
pansy shit or something.
Yeah, anemic emo crap and shove it up your ass. All right, on that note, I think we're pulling this, guys. Thank you so much.